One. Hey, it's Tom Hayden here. We got Tyros here again for another coach's interview. I am so excited for this one. We got a guy who took over the Orlando Oshowotts. They had a 3-2 record when he took them over. He led them to a 5-4 record and was one differential point out of the playoffs. It was up to one differential point. That's how close it was. He is Professor Koji's coach, which I find very interesting too. I want to hear more about that. And this guy, he's a great competitor, and I can't wait to hear from him more today. We got Proto on. So Proto, how about you introduce yourself to the league? Tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your Pokemon history.
What's up, guys? My name is Proto, and I absolutely hate fairy types.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. Hand up.
Uh, I started playing Pokemon back when I was 5 years old. I've been playing ever since Crystal. Uh, I've been playing competitive since Gen 3, where I started out with singles. Uh, Played singles up until Gen 6, Oras actually. So I kind of came back in on Gen 3 because I skipped Black 2 and White 2 and
Yeah.
XY.
All
Uh,
right.
I got to come back to them after their competitive life was over, but kind of missed the whole competitive scene from that. And I didn't really start playing VGC until Gen 6.
Okay. See, that's a
Uh,
long history, though. That's a very long history.
uh, yeah, I kind of fell in love with it as a kid and uh, just kept playing.
I love it.
Sweet.
Uh,
So,
pro-
oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go
Go ahead.
ahead.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, keep going. Yeah.
it was always a way for me and my brother to uh, play each other despite him being older. So that was always kind of neat and brought me a lot of joy through the years.
That's awesome. So you come into the league. We had one of the guys drop out. We had Otter drop out for some personal stuff, and um, we you pretty much jumped in right away, which was fantastic, and we've been super happy to have you. But when you took over the team, what were your overall first impressions of how it meshed together, how the pros and cons as far as like everything that you're walking into?
I liked what Otter had done with the team, especially with Whimsicott up there being one of the best supporting mons of all time. Bronzong down in the lower tiers also ended up putting in a lot of work for me, especially with Trick Room and into more Trick Room focused matchups. Zapdos was really like offensively some of the bread and butter of this. It and Rhyperior ended up putting in massive amounts of work. Uh, Mienshao I was never a fan of, and we'll get to that with the trades.
Yeah.
Uh,
If you want to talk about that now, we can always reorganize the questions. We just sent you a loose template.
but yeah, I mean, I liked what he had. I felt like it was really more defensively focused, though. One of his S tier picks I wasn't the biggest fan of. I mean, I brought it one time in the whole thing, and I think he also only brought it once, and that's Nihilego.
Hmm.
It's just way too frail, in my opinion. But other
And
than
in
that, I
this,
think he had a very solid core.
yeah, the thing with Nihilego, it's like everyone could prep for it. So if you know the Meteor Beam Power Herb is coming, if you run a well-timed Protect, it's like you just stall it out, then you make it a two-turn move again. So in the draft league format, it's tough to use. It really is. And speaking of, so when you took over the team, you traded Minshao for Electivire, you traded Executor for Passimian. Were there any other Pokemon on the waiver wire that you were like, all right, I got to get these Pokemon? Because usually we ask, are there any Pokemon that you really want to going into the draft? But we can't ask you that because you didn't get to draft, unfortunately. So were there any Pokemon you saw on the free agent wire that you wanted to take over? Like, why Electivire and why Passimian were your two picks?
Uh, Funny you ask that. Electivire was actually was something that I had seen had just beat the guy that I was coming in. I believe Snom had just
Snom.
beaten Pops with it, and it was one of, I believe it might have actually been Pops's either first or second loss, and it kind of, I recognized that it kind of shook him. My whole thing with Electivire was not only did I like the core, but I also wanted to come in and play mind games being the new guy.
That's awesome. So it's like that's why you were like, all right, I need these two Pokemon. Were there any other Pokemon on the free agent wire that you didn't pick up that you were thinking about picking up?
Yes, actually, I was thinking about trading Nihilego for just about everything that was S tier. If anything had been left open that wasn't Metagross, which would have doubled weaknesses with Bronzong, it shares the exact same typing. If I didn't have Bronzong on the team, I would have swapped it for Metagross, but that's about the only thing I saw coming in that was like, that's the good S tier trade.
Actually, wait, I got one more question. I just messaged Tyro something, then I forgot we skipped a question. Were there any Pokemon that surprised you on the roster? Good or bad, just surprised you. You were like, I never like this Pokemon took me off guard. I didn't realize it was this good. I didn't realize it was this. Well, Nihilego is the one that's that bad. But any other?
Yeah, no, Nihilego was the one that I realized was just way, like, it's, for lack of a better word, trash. It has 47 base defense. That's down there. You're looking at like Cartana level defenses at that point, with a 4 times weakness to one of the most common types to see in VGC in ground.
Right.
Complete opposite of that, however. The good that surprised me was Bronzong, actually.
Let's go.
Being a singles player in Gen 4, I never really saw, like, you saw Bronzong take hits, but that was really all it was there for. And now with the addition of Body Press, with Gyro Ball, with Trick Room set up, with all the bulk that it has, with being able to play mind games if you're going to bring Heat Proof or Levitate,
That
and
fucked me up when I played Otter. That
and
was, yeah.
you have to keep them on their toes because you have to find out which one it is. And
Yeah.
I think if you look in my last 2 games where I brought Bronzong, I think he had something like 5 kills. I think it's something insane like that. Where you'd never expect a support to do that well.
No, so I just started using Bronzor about I don't know 4 or 5 weeks ago just to like test it out, and I absolutely love it. I love the heat proof levitate mine stuff, and if you let it get set up with iron defenses inside Trick Room, that thing it is so hard to take down. So I completely agree. I think that's one of the best. You have some of the best support in the whole league with Whimsicott, Umbreon, Bronzor. Like those are Milotic. Those are great.
And that's another Pokemon that surprised me was Umbreon. Like I wasn't coming into this team, there were a few things I wasn't comfortable with. Like week 1, I actually forgot my Milotic got recover. I ran it coil because I just forgot that it got recover.
Oh, so you're like, recover would have been so much better. I just didn't even think of it.
Recover would have actually would have helped so much, especially against that Celesteela Garchomp that Pops had.
Yeah.
And Umbreon was just, it's a case of a Pokemon I've never used before. I understand what it's supposed to do as far as support with Foul Play, with Snarl, with Yawn, but I never really got a matchup where I could bring it or was comfortable bringing it.
Yep. But that can
And
make
that's
we've talked about this a couple of times with other coaches. That can make
Yep.
all the difference, whether you're comfortable with a mon or not.
Like if you look at the first game I came in on, I came in on Pops, and his whole team was based around Feeny and the Azelf. When I had actually prepped for Pops that week, I was looking at the Fling Lopunny that he used into the Azelf with Pataya Berry, and was realizing that that was what wrecked my team, and absolutely prepared for that because I didn't know that he liked to bring Feeny.
Yeah, that'll get you.
Yeah. When he uses that Feeny so well too. He's one of the better coaches at using that thing. And oh my god, the thing is a scary Pokemon. And I
And
got what's up?
go ahead.
I got a little tangent. Is this your first draft league, or have you ever been in a draft league before?
It is my first draft league.
So, what were your like? What do you have any ideas going forward?
On team or just in
Like
general?
on everything, like any like. So you answered the first impression already, like right? So it's like your first impression was good. So like, do you have any ideas that for anywhere? I ask everyone this question, and it's just like in the Discord, someone who was the one we just interviewed, Arceus said like Diamond Pearl trade tab when they come out. So it could be anything like that. Like any ideas? Because you're the one that took over a team too, man. So that was such a smooth transition too. Like that shows how good the moderators are. I feel like how smooth it was able to take it over. So like not like any idea, just anything. I'm rambling now. Sorry.
Uh, I have some ideas on what I'd like to do with my team, especially like making it my own in a sense.
For the
Uh,
draft next season.
yes,
Yeah.
but just in general,
Yeah, just
not
in general.
really. As a meme, ban Urshifu. I know that'll make Koji happy.
Sweet. So I know we kind of already prefaced it already. You don't have to reveal now, but do you have any idea? Because I was going to ask if you plan on changing the name, which I was guessing that you probably would to make it your own. And you don't have to reveal now if you don't want to, if you want to keep it a secret. But do you have any ideas of what you would like going forward?
Uh, I've got a few cores picks that I want in my head, but what I really like is off-meta weird stuff. Like one of my favorite uh creators is Wolfie. Wolfie is one of the ones that got me into VGC, and one of my favorite things that he's ever done was Poltergeist Dusclops with bread. So he was just beating mons to death with bread.
So wait, did he like fling it or something?
Uh, he would switcheroo the bread that you use to make curry in the game. He would put that on a Pokemon with switcheroo, trick, whatever, and he would trick it to the enemy team, and then he would use either, I want to say Dusclops, but it might have been Dusknor or another ghost type, where he would use Poltergeist to you because when you use Poltergeist in the game, it tells
The
you,
item attacks it.
yeah, so you're being attacked by bread.
So he kicked everyone's ass with bread.
That's hilarious.
And Poltergeist is a cool Pokemon with that. I think it gets a weak armor. It's such a little, it's if you put the Focus Sash and it gets Shell Smash, it could hit like a truck if you get the right boost on it. So that's a cool Pokemon to use too. Right? What's it? The Teapot? I'm thinking of. Did I say the
Uh,
wrong Pokemon?
yeah, I think he was using Dusclops or Dusknor for that.
That's one. All right. And then the move Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god, that's so cool. That's so cool. And dude, so in the 4 games you played, were there any matchups that stuck out as like the most challenging,
Uh,
other than the Pops Feeney one?
player wise, it was actually player wise it was Pops. Like walking in, knowing that he had just come off that loss, not really having the ability to prep for it because it was the first time I was in the Discord. It was the first time I really knew what he wanted to bring.
Yeah.
And I kind of had to piece all that together with zero help. Like I didn't. I think that was the week that I actually like. I prepped by myself, but I didn't really have anybody to play showdown with, and I absolutely hate doing damage calcs. They bore me to death. I would so much rather just play the game,
Dude,
and
I feel the same way.
that was a hard week. However, team wise, it was actually Smurf
Ooh.
because, and I curse Koji for getting rid of Dusclops to start the season, and then letting the player that got Glastrier get it.
Get disclassed, yeah.
Playing against Smurf with that team was like playing a game of rock, paper, scissors where you can only pick rock 75% of the time, and they know that. I ran
Amazing.
through so many sets trying to get rid of Glastrier, trying to kill the Dusclops before he could ever get Trick Room set up, trying to kill the Grimmsnarl before he could get the second set of screens set up, and just could not break it.
Yeah, that's rough.
Even in practice, the only way I beat him, or the only way I beat that team, was stall. There's actually a story behind that team went through about 7 different iterations, where one of them was even using Arcanine to Will-O-Wisp the Milotic to proc Marvel scale to stall him
Whoa.
out even harder.
Whoa.
And going into the whole differential thing, I regret not stalling him out because I absolutely could have. If you look at last turn, I think he messaged me and said he had like 45 seconds left in that match, where I still had over 2 minutes. And actually, like, I was just like, yeah, I don't want to win this way. Like, I do not want to win through time. It seems scummy to me to come in here and win on time.
It's
And
part of
now
the game.
I'm realizing that because I missed out of playoffs by 1 differential point, that I absolutely should have done it for one of those games.
Next time.
Dude,
Next
the
time.
butterfly effect is real.
Oh, absolutely, man.
What's so throughout the last couple weeks here, what do you think was the coolest tech that you brought?
I think the obvious answer is Electivire Zapdos, especially in the game against Bananas, where Electivire put in so much work. Having a speed tier that Blastoise after a Shell Smash couldn't touch when I discharged already. That's a really cool one. The other one that that I thought was really cool that I didn't even recognize against until I played against Smurf, actually, because I was looking for so many ways to beat the Glastrier. That Arcanine was originally one of the other variations was Burn Up to get rid of the fire typing so Glastrier couldn't high horsepower into it. And it was Intimidate. And the set I ended up bringing and completely forgot the Arcanine could do this was Beat Up Justified.
Yeah, I love Arcanine. It's my favorite Pokemon. I'm actually trying to do a ladder right now with Justified Arcanine. And yeah, Whimsicott next to Arc with the beat up and Tailwind, and you can do some cool stuff.
Yeah, dude, you mentioned actually before the interview that you missed the playoffs by 1 differential. We mentioned it a couple of times. Like, the standings were so close this season. Is going into next year, are you gonna like you got I think you're gonna be one of the guys I'm most looking forward to see your matches if you set up a stream. Most look forward to see how you do in the standings, even if you don't set up a stream. Just because, like, 1 differential point, you're gonna be coming back with a vengeance, man. Like, I'm excited to see that.
Oh yeah, I'm coming for blood.
Let's go. Dude, that's awesome. That's so awesome. And dude, can you talk a little bit about Koji right now? Like, how did you guys link up? How did you become like his VGC coach so that he was able to recommend you and it just happened so seamlessly? Can you tell us a little bit about the transition of you coming into the league too? Because that's a unique perspective I'm curious to hear about.
We actually work together. Live
That's
maybe
awesome.
20 minutes from each other. We've been best friends for years now.
I love that.
Started out playing Overwatch, Call of Duty, everything about that time that it came out. Uh, Worked on the same shift for a while. He taught me a lot of what I know at that job because my pops taught him, actually.
That's so cool. Oh, wow. So you guys
So,
go deep.
oh yeah, about 5, 6 years now.
That's awesome.
And with him knowing my dad for even longer than that.
That's so cool.
And it came up that he was going to be in a draft league and he was looking for somebody to help him run sets, help him uh like practice for it and everything like that. And he was like, "Look, man, I know you've played Pokemon for a really long time. Uh I know you like. We've actually set up like a Nuzlocke races against each other.
Oh, awesome.
Oh wow.
And he was like, I know you've played for a long time. I know you've played competitively since Gen 6. And even then before that, you were a singles player. And he was like, so I'm looking for somebody to help. And I was like, dude, absolutely. Like, I have so much fun playing this game.
So much fun. I'm so happy to hear that. That's so
And
cool.
especially in a league like this where it's really competitive. I mean, like you said, we had just in the East, which was the division I was playing in, we had 4 different people go 5-4,
Mhm.
and all within all within 4 differential points.
And dude, that's after I thought the West was going to be stronger too. The West started off so much stronger, and the East pulled back in like the last week of the season, really. And it was so cool to see how that happened. Like I was so happy to see that and see like the East became more competitive towards the end of the season. And the divisions were pretty fair because midway through the season, I was terrified. I was like, "Holy shit! There's going to be like a 6-3 team in the West that doesn't make the playoffs. There might be a 4-5 team in the East that makes it. Like that. That would be everyone would be like, "Oh God, these divisions." But like the
Yeah,
way it ended up being so cool and so perfect how competitive it was. So the fact you bring that up is awesome, man. And Tyros in the West could speak to how tough the competition was too. Because in the East, I know every week was tough to prep for, and then the interleague was so cool too. What did you think about the interleague?
uh, absolutely loved it. I walked in on an interleague match. It was in the Pops, who had the toughest schedule by far, and that was in the West.
So the
And
average uh finish of his opponents was 4.66. So average, everyone finished 4.66. Like that's the
they
crazy. You
finished
have to,
5th or higher. Yeah, that's insane. And like, and that was
you're a
one of
part
the
of that.
things I realized. Yeah, actually,
You're part of the reason that's so high because you're like you're seventh. You know, that's not a low rank at all. That's in the top, what, 60%, you know?
it just barely missed by 1 differential point.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's actually why I played so hard against Bananas in the end. Uh, I realized that I was 1-1 because Otter actually won his uh week 3 match, which the interleagues were every 3 weeks, and Otter actually won his first one. I lost the second one, and then I was like, all right, I've got to at least come out on top of this. Uh, Speaking on the whole Bananas match, Tom, I actually have kind of a bone to pick with you, but not really.
Pick it.
Uh,
Let's go. Let's go.
in the recap for that week, you said somehow Proto beat him. Uh,
Did I?
yeah, and that somehow was Electivire. That tying that back into the whole core thing, that Zapdos Electivire core was disgusting. He managed to stall the whole way he beat me game 2 was stalling out long enough with stalling out enough turns of my Dynamax, not stalling out the game. Uh, where I Dynamaxed Electivire turn 1, killed
Oh my
Lele,
God.
killed Thievul, and by the time he got Clefairy and Blastoise in, uh, Electivire was already weakened and couldn't kill Blastoise in a single hit because Clefairy took the hit with Follow Me.
Yeah. Yeah,
So that's somehow.
that Electivire pickup was definitely a solid move. Definitely a solid move. And I think it definitely rounds out the team pretty nice. And I mean, you can proc the what is it called, motor drive, to make it go super fast with discharge from Zap. So yeah, I think that was a great pickup overall for your team. And then I going back, like I do like the Passimian as well. I think it can do some really funky stuff that people don't usually look at. And yeah, absolutely.
There was actually another variation of the Passimian that I was going to run against uh, Bananas, actually. before I realized that it would not work, where it was going to be Motor Drive Passimian with where he receivered off of Electivire dying, took
But
Motor
then he
Drive,
would
and
take
then
damage.
Zapdos was going to come in.
That would have
Right.
been crazy epic.
And it just never, like, even in practice, it never worked out. So, of course, I left it and left. And Defiant actually, it didn't end up playing a role, but it played more of a role than Motor Drive or Receiver would have.
That's so cool. I love seeing tech like that, man. Like being able to try to think about that. And I'm sorry about that in the recap. I got to be more careful with my wording because I just go fast and loose with it.
Oh
So
no, man, I'm just giving you a hard time.
no, and
I
there's probably a
understand the
bunch of
real
people in the
reason.
league that can too. So that's why I'm like, you know what? I got to be more careful. But I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys watching.
Yeah,
That's
I
so cool to me.
understand the whole reason behind that was me not having the VOD up at that point, or not the VOD because I don't stream yet. I will be streaming next year's or next season's matches,
Oh,
but
nice.
I still have the recording for that game actually,
Oh, wow.
and I know that nobody else got to see that except for Koji right now.
Oh, the secret tapes.
There are only secret tapes for that match and Smurfs before him, and one of those tapes is just 17 minutes of Milotic just sitting there.
That's actually really funny. With recover or without?
With recover that week, it was Scald Burn instead of Muddy Water, specifically for horse,
Yep.
and Protect, Recover, and Coil actually again.
That's awesome.
His team had nothing I wanted to hit with any of its normal coverage moves: Ice Beam, Icy Wind, Dragon Tail.
I have a kind of pivot question here. So, this is your first draft league, you said, right? I want to
Yep.
confirm that. Yeah. So next season's going to be your first draft in your second draft league. That's really cool to me, actually. That's a unique perspective. And is there anything anyone used this year that you're like, I want to target that because of the way this person used it? Don't give away too much of your info for draft, but just like a Pokemon, dude, you're like, you know what? That Pokemon definitely made my list after not even thinking about it, just because of the way I saw this person use them this year.
Oh, absolutely. And you're gonna have to correct me on whose this was, but the Dragonite.
Fox.
Yeah, Fox.
I am sniping that from Fox as soon as I can.
Yeah, he used Dragonite extremely well this season.
Dragonite is one of my favorite Pokemons.
Me
To the
too.
point where I have a plushie of it.
Oh, I love
just
that.
sits on my bookshelf and
You
holds
got
my
to see
hat for me.
the trophy Haney made for Fox.
I saw that actually. That thing is sick.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Do you got
It's already
anything?
2:37. I think we started a little after 2.
You think you got anything else for us? This has been super fun.
So much fun.
Love having you on, and definitely for me, I know I'm definitely gonna look forward to see how you do in season 2 and how your first draft goes. I think that'll be super interesting. And like Tom said, that's a very unique perspective. So good luck, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
One other thing I wanted to touch on, absolutely, that is a unique perspective, is I actually, in a way, I kind of have an advantage going into next season, because I came in to a team that was already pre-built, where I got to see what worked and what I liked and what I didn't like. And next season, going into a draft where before, if it was my first draft league, I wouldn't be able to have any of that information. And now I've got the information from this season where I've seen what works, what doesn't, what I like, what I don't. And I get to bring that in.
Dude. Yeah, I'm scared of you in the draft. If we do the divisions again, I hope you're in not the one I'm in. You're gonna be a tough opponent next year when you get all your ducks in a row, get all the Pokemon you want, get the strategies you want with the experience you have now from these 4 last weeks. Oh God, I'm excited to see what you can do next year, man. I really am.
And if I'm not in your division, I hope we play in the interdivision.
He's gonna make it happen now. So I'll see you next season.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I love it.